Good morning, I'm Tamara Shoemaker. Have you ever felt nailed into position, no way forward and no way backward, not even a sideways route? You stand like a deer in the headlights, in its approaching lights until the vehicle meets the animal and it's all over with. I have. I've been torn apart by indecision, and I stand still on the road and watch the circumstances just sort of surround me, right? And I can't decide if I should move forward or backward or sideways or somehow just miraculously leap up into the air and float until everything's passed by underneath me. Whatever. Without going into really personal detail, this is where I find myself today, at the center of what seems like a really impossible situation, and I don't know which way to go. So Joshua 3 is a meaty chapter, and I don't want to do it any injustice by hurrying through it because it's a huge part of Israel's history and a huge part of their entering the promised land. So here's a momentous occasion that they find themselves faced with. The last time the Israelites made such a big transition, they were leaving Egypt, the land of their slavery, and they were hemmed in by the Red Sea with Pharaoh's army fast approaching behind them. And now, at long last, they're finally preparing to enter the promised land. But the physical boundary that's keeping them separated is no small hiccup to be got over, right? So the only thing I want to focus on today, and I'll save the rest for tomorrow, is Joshua 3, chapter 3, verses 3 and 4. The Israelites have just left Shittim, and they are now on the banks of the Jordan River at flood stage. The officers go through the whole camp, right? And they spread this message from Joshua. And they say, when you see the ark of the covenant of the Lord your God and the priests, who are Levites, carrying it, you are to move out from your positions and follow it. Then you will know which way to go, since you have never been this way before. When you see him, follow him. Then you will know which way to go, since you have never been this way before. So here are two things. First, wait. I don't see him yet. And second thing, promise. I will see him, as denoted by when. Patience is not my virtue, but it's certainly one I need to continue to cultivate. And then you will know which way to go. Echoes of the same statement thread throughout all of Scripture. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 is probably one of the more well-known places, right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. So do I acknowledge him in all my ways? Are there days when I hide him from other people? When it's easier just to casually not mention him? Boy, is it ever easier. Think of those tense conversations that you've had recently, right? Think of those tight moments that you've had with family or friends or acquaintances, or people you go to church with, or people you go to work with, or people you go to school with. Facebook conversations or Twitter threads or Instagram things. Do you acknowledge him? Do I acknowledge him in all my ways? And he will direct your paths. So it's not just a good idea. He's not just up there looking at us like a chessboard and picking and choosing pieces to move at will, right? There is a direct and intensely personal relationship here. Acknowledgement of him in all my ways is one side of it, and the reciprocal part of that relationship is he will direct my paths. He will go ahead of me. I will follow him. When I see him, I will step forward to follow him. I will follow hard after him. Then, I love that word. Then, after the stepping forward, after I find him, and there is movement of my spiritual feet, then I will know which way to go. So here's the deal. The knowledge doesn't come until the movement occurs. Ouch. But Lord, I want to know which way to go before I go. Planning, it seems pretty key, right? Remember Abraham? God tells him, go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you. So Abram went. He didn't know where. He simply stepped forward, and the Lord showed him the way to go. Isaiah 42:16 says, I will lead the blind by ways they have not known. Along unfamiliar paths will I guide them. I will turn the darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. These are the things I will do. I will not forsake them. Like that deer staring into the headlights, I am blinded to everything else but the overwhelming brightness of my circumstances. So, we have to stop looking at the circumstances. I have to stop looking at the circumstances for sure. Look at Him. When you see Him, follow Him. Once your feet are in motion, then you'll know the way to go. Faith with feet. Lord, let it be so in my life. That was short and sweet. Hopefully tomorrow we'll finish up chapter 3 of Joshua. Have a great day. I'll see you then.